Hey gang, I'm Robert and this is Joshua. He points a lot, and we're from A&G Central Music, and we thought that we would have another conversation with you today.
Yeah. What have you been up to?
Making videos about conversations.
Yeah, me too.
Good. You know, what I want to do today, though, is I think I want to practice my instrument today.
That's a good idea. I might do that myself.
I think that practice is probably always a good idea, and as we come into summer, I think that we neglect it. There's a lot of things that we can be doing outside. The weather's nice. We don't have as many obligations in terms of schoolwork, potentially.
Right.
And so it's easy to set our instrument aside.
That's true. So how do you build those habits of keeping it part of your routine through the summer so that you keep progressing on your instrument, keep practicing?
And I think the two key words there, I think you answered your own question with two of those words. And one of them was routine and the other one was habits.
Yes.
I think with anything that we do, whether it's getting up in the morning and going for a run, some of us go to the gym, some of us like to make meals, whatever it is that we like to do, we get in the habit of doing it. And we don't allow ourselves to make excuses for not doing it. Right? But part of having a successful habit is probably making your expectations realistic. So maybe for the summer, for me, certainly, you know, I really like to be outside. And so I don't always have as much time in the house to practice. So a realistic expectation for me would be, okay, I'm going to practice, but maybe just 3 or 4 times this week. Right? I don't know, what do you do?
Like for me, those two words again are key. Just keeping it routine and keeping it regular. As a brass player, there's always fundamental stuff that needs to be worked on all year if you want to maintain it. But if I have a period of time, like the summer, where I don't have as many playing commitments, I also kind of like to make a goal for myself. So maybe there's a skill that I feel is a little weaker, something I want to get better at specifically.
Right, because this is like bonus time.
Yeah.
Same with me. I play in a lot of ensembles, but I'm not preparing a lot of new music right now. And so it's an opportunity for me to kind of dig in a little bit and say, you know, this is something I always wanted to do, or this is something I'm really terrible at and just haven't had time to dedicate to working on it. And we can make that time over the summer maybe to do that. You know what might be interesting, if any of this is really interesting to anybody. You know, I heard the other day that like all of the TV and radio signals that have ever been broadcast on Earth have gone out into space and are still just going out into space.
Right.
Wouldn't it be interesting if someday aliens watched this and learned how to play the trumpet because of you?
They're like, oh my gosh, I got to practice.
What if their hands were made out of trumpets and they just never realized that that's what they were?
That could be really eye-opening for them if they have eyes.
Okay. I forget what the heck. Okay, so practice. Structure for our practice is really important too, right? Like let's bring this back to earth and people with hands and not trumpet fingers.
Yes.
You know, there are some things that I always do as a routine that I always do before I practice. The first thing I do is I put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah.
You are not allowed to call me or text me while I'm practicing. Because I promise you, if you do, I'll watch the video you sent and then watch 30 more right after it. Scroll through them. Right? Like you get caught up in the thing. So I do that. I always make sure that I have the same things laid out for myself. In other words, all the tools that I need, you know, as if I'm practicing percussion especially, all the instruments that I'm going to be working on, all the things that I need to play those instruments, and then most importantly, can you guess? Anyone? Did I hear it?
Metronome.
Metronome. Right? So my phone is off, my metronome is on, and I have everything I need in front of me, so I don't have an excuse to interrupt myself.
Right.
Because I know me, and if I interrupt myself, that interruption's not going to be 30 seconds. It's going to be like the rest of my scheduled practice time.
I also think it's important to note, especially for like summertime when maybe you have less playing goals, like also distinguishing between practice sessions that are maybe you're just playing something for fun versus when you're structured and really working on a skill. And it's okay to have those practice sessions that, hey, I'm just going to get out a B-flat blues and ramp over it for a half hour because I feel like doing that. That's practice too, but maybe it's not making you as better as a real dedicated, goal-oriented session.
I'm a list maker.
Right.
So as part of my routine, I do it more loosely probably than some people do, but I do keep both a practice journal and a running list of the things that I'm working on.
Makes sense?
Right?
Makes
So I
sense.
can be like, if I have a box to check off before I'm done,
Right.
the way my brain works is I have to check that box off. So I know that my routine, and this is something, we can maybe do a deep dive into, but I know I'm going to spend a certain amount of my time doing warm-up.
Right.
And then I'm going to do a certain amount of time working on rep, if I have rep to work on, or working on skill building. And then I am going to have some time for fun.
Right. Patterns and scales, and then time to play something just to play something. But keeping track of that so that not all your sessions are just fun stuff that you're doing. Having those goals and making sure you're kinda
Isn't
meeting
all
those
practice just fun stuff that you're doing, though?
goals. That's true. That's true.
I mean, allegedly.
Yeah, you're making music. Any day where you can spend time making music, I think is a good day.
And, if you build that habit, like everything else in your life that's a habit, you'll miss it when you don't do it.
Right.
The big thing is to realistically carve out the time that you're going to dedicate to your practice. And maybe, say this month I'm going to do it this many days. And for me, I have to say specifically what day I'm going to do it, or it doesn't
Right.
happen, right? It's like, oh, well, I'm going to do it 4 days, and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday go by.
Right.
And I
you're
have
like,
4
"Now I gotta
days
practice
left, and
every
then
day.
right? So
I'm going to be out of town on Sunday. Or whatever.
So, I just try to be really regular with it.
Right.
And if you don't cheat yourself, it actually does become a habit.
Should we recap the rules of summer practice?
Yes, but I have the capacity to retain of a housefly, so you'll have to do the recap for us.
So,
You can see a recap below here on the screen that'll be prepared by someone,
smarter than us.
which is everyone. Are we done?
Is that a wrap?
I feel like we should wrap up in some way.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
We did give them time to read whatever was on the screen, which
Did
is
we?
really nice of us.
Yeah. Let's go get lunch.
That's the magic of the internet.
Yeah.
It's 3:30 in the afternoon.
Well, they don't know that.
Bye, everybody.